Welcome everyone to Morpho Manufacturing Reviews. Today we have Anna Costello of Fluff Trough. She's going to introduce us to their innovative dog bowl product and as well as take us through a little bit of their journey as a startup company and also tell us a little bit more about their experience manufacturing and what the relationship was with Morpho Manufacturing. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about their journey as a startup company and as well as what it was like to partner with Morpho Manufacturing. All right, let's get to it. All right, Anna, thank you for joining me. And today, very excited to hear directly more about Fluff Trough and what an amazing product this is. And honestly, what a great product idea this was. When I first joined the company and I was asking about, who's doing well, sort of like in our client Rolodex, my colleagues actually said, man, I've got this one client, she just did a dog bowl and she's killing it. And it was sort of like this different perspective, like, okay, we don't have to create the next amazing smart home device or, AI sensor on, on a kitchen pan. Like you can actually have like a really simple product, but it affects people in really meaningful ways. So I'm interested in hearing more from you directly about Fluff Trough, what the reception has been. Tell us about the product.
Yeah, definitely. So the Fluff Trough is an open front elevated pet feeder, and that helps dogs and cats eat more effectively. We've got a standard insert, kind of like a bowl that's made out of silicone. We've got a food safe slow feeder insert that helps dogs slow down, especially ones that gobble gobble really quickly. And then we
Right.
have a stainless steel insert that can be used for food or for water. All of these are food safe, dishwasher safe, and really kind of designed to help dogs and cats and different animals eat and drink and digest more effectively.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the things I really like about the product is that modular aspect because the unit itself, is pretty sizable, but actually having the removable linings makes the maintenance of it a lot easier. And also just the slow feeder in particular is it's a small thing, but it really adds to the whole package of Fluff Trough.
It's so fun too to see customer photos because we have some people that just want, one base and then they interchange the parts as their pets need them. And then we have some photos that are literally like a line of fluff troughs. If they have multiple pets that might have, the silicone insert, or when we fully launched the water bowl, we've got some people testing it. But it's just so funny to see like some people want one base or one set for each, and some people just interchange them, but they are absolutely interchangeable. And that's one thing that I think is so great about it is you can take it to go, you can take it in your house, you can keep it in your house, obviously, but it's easy to just swap out the inserts based on what your pet needs.
How often do people ask to personalize their Fluff Trough?
We're seeing that more and more. We just added a bunch of different options like cute, fun fonts and different patterns that you can use. So we've had a lot of people recently even put their dog's or cat's face on the Fluff Trough. We've figured out a way
Really?
to kind of digitize that and make it totally custom. So we're having so much fun with the custom option.
That's awesome. So what was the inspiration for the product? Because Deborah's actually the creator.
Yeah. So she's the founder and inventor of this product. She has a pug named Pork Chop, and she noticed that he was really just kind of struggling to eat from these traditional floor-based bowls, and his face is so sweet and so adorable, but very flat. And it was challenging for him. He was also diagnosed with vestibular disease, which basically
Yeah.
causes some imbalance. And she was just finding like he was just having more and more difficulty eating. And so, her being the genius she is, she tried a bunch of different dog bowls and nothing really was able to help. So, she basically designed and 3D printed this solution for Pork Chop, and she found that it really helped him. She could see him like not getting food stuck in his face. He wasn't having trouble swallowing, like he would sometimes choke when eating. And so she shared this on social media, and she got so much positive feedback and so many people that could relate to some of the problems. I guess so many people whose dogs could relate to the problems that Pork Chop was having. So she ended up launching like a Kickstarter campaign, and that was fully funded, exceeded funding in less than 24 hours, which is just amazing. So she really kind of realized that this was a prevalent problem for some dogs.
So, somewhat anecdotally, I've noticed that pug owners, there's certain breeds where the owners seem to be really excited about having that particular breed, or being like really passionate about being, a pug owner, for example.
Yeah.
Did you find that with Deborah, and do you feel like that was kind of a secret to the success of pug owners in particular, being like really excited to have something specific for their type of breed?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, so initially Pork Chop, and I think it's pugs and other flat-faced dogs have very similar challenges. And there really is just kind of this cool community amongst these different pug owners or Frenchies or, other flat-faced breeds. And so I think that's one of the reasons, people immediately could relate to this issue. But now we have so many just long-nosed or standard dogs or cats or other pets, because there's so many benefits to the open face. It makes it easier for
Right.
the animals to kind of get to the bowl. It's less mess. A lot of times we'll see pictures like before and after, like eating out of different bowls where there's food spread out everywhere because the pet is pushing the bowl around. The Fluff Trough has like a flat back that you can push against the wall. And it's dishwasher safe, so it's super easy to just take out the insert and wash it. So it's definitely a little bit more cleanly too.
That's one of the cool things about new ideas, because Deborah like clearly had the vision which what she wanted to do with this. But even coming from like the original creator who has the idea, even it's hard for them to see all of the possibilities and all the benefits of an idea when they bring it to market. And a lot of time that's the market feedback that really kind of locks in what the value of the product is.
Yeah. I mean, a great example of that really would be like the slow feeder. We called it the binge blocker. A customer of ours actually came up with that. But, Pork Chop, I've seen him eat.
Oh,
He's a very slow, methodical eater. But she was hearing so much feedback from the folks that were purchasing the Fluff Trough that these dogs were just gobbling up the food so quickly. And so, she's like, well, we can solve that problem. So she designed the binge blocker, the slow feeder, and went through a number of iterations with customers, got a lot of feedback, and we're just seeing so many customers share that it's really helping their dogs not binge on their food.
so it sounds like you've got a lot of customer engagement. Like your customers are really excited about the brand and really excited about what you guys are doing.
I think that's one of the coolest parts of being part of this team, is really just having such an open dialogue with our customers and so much support from them. And it's something that we take so seriously. We really take any customer feedback and suggestions to heart. It's so fun hearing all of the stories of these animals and seeing pictures of them. But it's something that's really important to us to always kind of maintain a very high touch and high level of communication.
So where can you share with us any sort of ideas you have for the brand, like where the product itself might be evolving? I know you had the Fluff Trough, and then there was the addition of the inserts, and then you have personalization. Now there's the Fluff Trough XL. What's
Mhm.
next for the brand?
Yeah, so the XL is really meant to just kind of serve larger dogs. So we have different sizes. We're creating some risers. So some people the width is the right size, but their dogs are very tall or something. So we've got some options where you can basically lift the Fluff Trough or the Fluff Trough XL by increments of an inch, and they stack pretty high. We've stacked a few of them just to make sure we do testing to make sure that works. We've got a couple of other things kind of in the pipeline and up our sleeve that we're working on. We're launching customizable dog mats very quickly. Very soon, and Morpho Manufacturing will be helping us with that. And we've got a couple other things that are kind of probably not ready for prime time yet, but there's so many ideas and so many things that we want to get to And we're really just kind of immersed in this world of like, how can we help these pets, be eating more effectively or have more fun or solve some problems for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, excited to see what's next. So your involvement in the company, it sounds like either you were initially hired on or contracted in, but now you're sort of an integral part of Fluff Trough right now. How did that progression occur?
Yeah, so Deborah and I initially connected through my other business called Dropship Like It's Hot. So I do order fulfillment.
Nice.
And she, knew she didn't want to warehouse or pack up and ship these products, and so we met and we just kind of hit it off. And I'm probably extremely guilty of a lot of this like unsolicited advice or waking up in the middle of the night and thinking like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cool if you did this, or here's a random idea for you to consider. And we just kind of kept talking about all of these different ideas and solutions and customer feedback. And, we wanted to do the personalization. And so like, I kind of was helping her just on the side because I was so excited about this product and I loved it so much. And it was funny, it really just kind of evolved into this like, hey, do you want to kind of be more involved? And like, sure, I hope I'm not overstepping on any way. But yeah, it's been really great to kind of partner with her. And she's just so brilliant, and it's fun to work with people that are just doing what they're meant to be doing and so passionate about what they're doing. So I feel really lucky to kind of be part of this adventure here.
Yeah, I mean, companies pay a lot of money for consulting in terms of product development, and they're never going to be as passionate as somebody who's like, has got their hands, in the dirt right along there with the owners. So it sounds like you're a tremendous asset to the company.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been so fun to kind of see the evolution because in the beginning, and it's all relative, right? But in the beginning, we had a huge order that came in and it was like, several boxes, and they were coming from Morpho Manufacturing. And then now, we're coordinating multiple containers. And so it's just kind of a fun thing to see the company grow and evolve and to be there from those beginning days.
So let's talk about bringing Fluff Trough to light. So what was the initial stage? You mentioned 3D printing. So how did this idea initially get brought to life, and where was that initial sort of like how was that initial market testing done?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the really great things about Deborah is she's so methodical and so thoughtful, and she's really just such a great observer of, human and dog and cat and animal behavior, as weird as that sounds. But she, really did a lot of like critical thinking and research around, this problem, and she wanted to kind of improve upon what was out there, and there was nothing really else out there that matched based on these needs. And so she really kind of did some early prototypes. I'm sure she could talk about this in way more detail, but like did several models and then tweaks on the 3D printing prototype process, and really kind of making sure that each evolution kind of addressed pork chop's needs more effectively. And then I think when she got a couple of other dogs testing and observing how they were using it, she felt comfortable kind of moving into this more of a mass production side of it.
So when she started looking seriously at mass manufacturing, high volume production, where did she initially start looking, and eventually how did that turn into her discovering about Morpho manufacturing?
It was interesting because when she was telling me when she was initially searching, there really wasn't a lot that came up or a lot that seemed credible. And so she actually found Morpho Manufacturing through Kickstarter support. And that was a really great way to kickstart the relationship, because Kickstarter is a trusted brand, and it's terrifying to like try to find a company and work through this process, especially with the distance. And so I think that was just so great to have like a referral from somebody that you know and trust, or a company that's known and trusted.
Do you know what it was that really convinced her to decide, okay, Morpho Manufacturing is definitely the right company for me? I know she was talking to Abel over the phone, and Abel is very convincing and communicating why Morpho Manufacturing is awesome. But did she ever kind of express to you like when she knew, okay, this is the right partner for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of the pillars and even just on Morpho Manufacturing's website, they talk really about being a trusted partner, really focused on quality and customer service, and somebody to kind of help navigate every aspect of this process. Because when we think of like manufacturing, I mean, there's, product development, there's the actual mold side of things, there's the manufacturing, there's the QA process, there's shipping and logistics. Like, there's a lot that you might not be thinking of, but I think that Morpho Manufacturing was really kind of the best agent or partner to kind of help navigate this entire side of it.
Awesome. Now, as we're a company that manufactures our supply chain that we build out and give to our clients is predominantly in China right now. Were there any kind of preconceived notions about working with a partner that works with based in China suppliers? What the whole made in China experience was going to be like, what you expected, what you didn't expect, what surprised you, what didn't surprise you. How was that experience for you and Deborah?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest issues is really just finding like a company and a partner that you could trust. I mean, it's terrifying when push comes to shove to like wire transfer, your life savings are a huge chunk of, capital
Of course.
to I'm sorry.
I said, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
it's just
mentioned it
somebody
before.
that you don't know,
There's,
obviously.
yeah,
So
you're a
I think
steward. You're a steward.
yeah. I think, that side was just really kind of like, helping, again, kind of going back to the idea of Kickstarter vouching almost for Morpho Manufacturing was huge in the trust side of this. And then, of course, from when we actually received the first batch of the product, we wanted to make sure that obviously we wouldn't bring anything to market if it didn't meet our expectations of quality. And that's hard to do remotely. We were getting pictures and stuff of these new products along the way, but it wasn't necessarily something we could see until we got the samples, obviously. And so that was just so nerve-wracking. But once we kind of got through that first hurdle, like it just made us feel so much better. And you guys basically delivered on what you said you would when you said you would, and that goes a long way. So I think really it was more just so about trust.
Fantastic. So we've been really fortunate to actually have like some of our favorite clients come to China, come to our Guangzhou office, actually see what China is like with their own eyes. We've even had clients stay with us for extended periods, weeks or months, to do the project on the ground, hand in hand with Morpho Manufacturing. I'm assuming you guys haven't had a chance to come visit us, correct?
Not yet, but it's on the list for sure. We've developed relationships with a number of folks on your team. We'd love to be able to sit down and have dinner and meet face to face. But with kind of initially starting the business and then with COVID, obviously, we haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. But it's definitely high on our list.
Yeah, I think it's probably it's going to be a little bit longer, but we're hoping once we're kind of back to semi-normality, we can start inviting people again to come say hello. So, do you have any advice or tips or suggestions? Obviously, you guys are coming from the Kickstarter, kind of community, if you will, as do a lot of our past and current clients. So, do you have any sort of recommendations how to approach the process? What to think about when it comes to manufacturing, how to build brand value, how to take care of your customers. Anything you can offer?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. That's a lot. I think for to sum it up, I think really for people that are looking to invent a product or to start a business, I get asked a lot of questions about that process, and I'd really suggest like think through the why. A lot of people are like, I just want to own my business, and I'm like, have you heard that expression? You're quitting your 40-hour-a-week job to work 80 hours a week. Are you sure that's what you want? But really kind of making sure that you're, solving a problem or helping in some way that obviously there's a market for what you're looking to do. But in general, I would probably just say like, go for it. I mean, I think it's so easy to get hung up in the process, especially if you're a little bit of a perfectionist. But I think that we're huge believers in progress over perfection. And so I think with creating a product, a new one, obviously you want to do your research here, make sure that there's a market for it, that there's a unique take on it, or you're doing it better or different than anybody else. But I would just say kind of keep moving forward as much as you can. If you make a mistake, then I assume it's going to be a calculated one and you can have the chance to fix it. If you don't do anything at all, you just lose so much opportunity cost there. And so I think, I'm hearing that like Finding Nemo, Dory, fish, like just keep swimming and keep moving forward through this process, because there are some days that it's so much fun, and then there's some days you're just like, what am I doing and why? You get kicked down a little bit, but no, I think overall it's really been great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm working with just one of my hobbies. My instructor just says, whatever you do, just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't just keep going.
There's something to that, and to totally contradict that, but kind of along the same lines, there are times where I'm really trying to solve a problem and I'm just sitting here looking at my computer screen or whatever. Sometimes I'll just go for a walk and I'm like, oh, it's easy. That's all I need to do. But I would say just in general, just try to keep moving forward in any way you can.
It's actually it's funny that you mentioned that. That's like a technique now. I think more and more common, the idea of like nature bathing, or like, a lot of these Silicon Valley types right now, they're just like, yeah, I go for a walk in the woods and I solve the world's, next big problem.
I think the other piece too is I try to break that down. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and write out, our 5-year strategy. And I'm like, well, that's not a task, like let's see how we can break that down a little bit to bite-sized chunks here.
Yeah, exactly. We're focusing on what's attainable right now, and allowing those building blocks to grow into something later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because one of the things we focus on with Morpho Manufacturing is, I always say, don't come to us to build a product. Come to us to build a supply chain. Come to us to, have a partner who is going to be building your network and managing your interests here, obviously overseas. So that building block approach, do you think that's been advantageous to the Fluff Trough, and how has that assisted you guys in any way of taking that supply chain minded approach?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for us, Deborah brought a very specific product to market, and then just wanting to kind of take a step back and listen to customer feedback to see like what gaps we're missing. But I think like building upon that has been so great. We this last year, I think we went from basically a one product organization to now we're probably looking at like 5 or 6, and that's a lot to kind of take on. But I think that the evolution of that has been really fluid. Yeah.
So you guys started with crowdfund. Oftentimes we recommend this, particularly to entrepreneurs who may not have limitless cash to work with. It's a good way to minimize your upfront financial risk. And then we often see, businesses move to D2C, they start selling to their customers online, and then, they'll move into retail and try and get into the big box companies and have their product all over Walmart or Costco or Target or whatever it might be. So where are you guys in that evolution? I think predominantly right now you're D2C. Do you have intentions to move more into a retail type format, or what's kind of that growing business model that you have right now?
Yeah. So we've been approached by a number of wholesalers. We're just kind of starting that side of the business, which is really a fun, fascinating area to explore. It would be our dream, of course, to be in Target and Costco and all of these other places. But I think that starting kind of small, because we want to make sure that we can fulfill the orders and meet the demands of retailers, because it is a little bit of a different kind of consumer experience from that side of things, especially packaging and stuff like that. So we're kind of dabbling, but of course our longer term plan is to look at some of the bigger box stores and partnerships with some larger companies there.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited whenever I'm back in the U.S. again, to kind of walk in,
we'll
do some grocery shopping.
Like looking at Target and see, there we go.
Fantastic. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that you were able to come on here and be candid with us about your experience and be so willing to share that experience and some of the kind of tips that you've picked up along the way. So again, we absolutely love having you guys as, one of our premier client partners. It's been a real blast, and we're really excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, thank you guys. You've been such great partners in this whole process. We really appreciate everybody on the team. We feel really confident in working with you guys, and it's actually just been a pleasure. Your team's wonderful. So thank you guys so much for your help along the way and for including us in this chat and opportunity.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, is there anything you'd actually like to add, or anything we didn't cover?
One thing that I think I'd like to add is I'm so proud of Deborah in the fact that she's really kind of been so generous in partnering with different rescues or donating product to different causes. I think that there's really an element of kind of corporate social responsibility in what she's doing in the sense of being partners with a number of different people in the community and organizations that need a little bit of extra support. I think that's been really great to be part of a company that's not just focused on the bottom line, obviously, but really truly helping these animals, especially ones that are part of like different rescues and stuff like that. That's been pretty great.
So, do you think that aspect of the business actually kind of, obviously it supports the business, but being an entrepreneur is hard. So, do you think having that kind of, meaningful, sort of, adding value to the world type goal really kind of supporting you and handling all the stresses and sort of the late nights of the startup culture, if you will?
Yeah, so are you asking kind of like how that helps us as a company?
Yeah, that was a terrible way of asking that question.
I mean, I think that people generally a lot of people want to support companies that are kind of doing great things. You get to shop with your dollars, you get to shop with your values, and Deborah just does this because she has such a big heart, and these animals that need a little bit of extra help. But finding kind of these nonprofits to partner with has been great for us because they've been the first to kind of help give us feedback when we need it, or we're working with some to put Fluff Trough on their like Amazon wish list and stuff like that. But there's a lot of connection within this dog and cat animal community with rescues and nonprofits. So I think that's an important part of her relationship with them.
Yeah, and actually, another thing I noticed on your website is that you've got an entire page just devoted to your feline and canine customers, if you will. So like it seems like your customers are like super excited to take a picture of their pets with the product itself and send that out to you guys. Was that something you asked for, or just people started sending those in?
Oh my gosh, what's so much fun is, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but kind of like establishing this communication and conversation and relationship with these customers. I mean, like we know so many, we know a lot of people's names too, but we know a lot of dogs' names and a lot of cat names. And we get so many great pictures and updates and stories about them. It's actually one of my favorite parts, especially like scrolling through social media now, like all of my feed is different animals. And it's so great to just see the Fluff Trough in action and hear these stories about how it's really helping them. I've almost been brought to tears a number of times just reading other people's posts and reading their reviews about how the Fluff Trough's really just kind of been a life changer, a game changer in helping these animals. So it's actually really great. And who doesn't love to see pictures of cats and dogs,
Right. What's the most surprising pet anyone has had? Did anyone have a raccoon? That's what I want to know.
No, we've seen pictures of pigs and little goats eating out of the Fluff Trough as well, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
I think one of the things that'll really help them is when we get the risers too for some of these more farm animals. But yeah, it's just so fun to see all the different faces of Fluff Trough, if you will.
Awesome. All right, so this has been Morpho Manufacturing Reviews with Anna Costello of Fluff Trough. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, so it's still recording. Don't close the window. Just, I'm gonna hit stop. It's gonna save, and then I can talk to you after.
Okay.
This part will also be on the YouTube video, by the way. All right.